Loris Capirossi is one of the greatest motorcycle racers of all time. We spent the day with him in his hometown of Monaco, taking in the top marks luxury goods fair in the company of his great friend, the sports journalist Aldo Gandolfo. As we reflect on his 22-year career, what better place to start than his amazing debut season, which saw him claim the 125cc World Championship at the tender age of 17.
Incredibile.
Incredible. Well, I don't think anybody expected it, including me. I was so young, just 17, but I found myself with a chance of claiming the world title at the last round in Australia. But it was a really remote possibility, and I was so far behind. Nobody thought I could do it, including me. And I remember as though it was yesterday, the night before the Grand Prix. I didn't sleep at all, as I just couldn't stop thinking and thinking. I was so worried, but that evening I won. I won the race, I won the championship. It was such a dream, a wonderful thing.
Loris's teammate at that time was Fausto Gresini, himself a double world champion. The pair have remained close friends since those early days in the sport.
Fausto's a legend. I love him so much. We were friends then. We are even closer friends now.
He's a bit like a brother, Loris. A wonderful person. A great person, a friend, and someone that I've shared many great times with over the years. As well as the tough times in my career, in my life, and in his career too.
He was like my mentor. He taught me everything.
We've had some really fantastic times together. I remember when he started out, he would come to my house, we'd set off, he'd turn up on his APE 50, unload his bags and put them in my car, then we'd set off together to go to a race. So they were really very special times. So today, to see what Loris has built in his life fills me with joy and makes me very happy.
Quello che ha costruito nella sua vita mi riempie di gioia e mi fa veramente molto felice.
From his very first Grand Prix back in 1990, Loris wore the number 65. This signature number became more and more important as his career progressed.
It was by chance. The first ever race of my career they gave me 65, but it didn't mean anything. It was just a number. Then in the second year they gave me 65 again. In the European races at that time they changed your number every race, well, very often, and in the World Championship too. And the races I won, it was often with the number 65. In the final race when I won the title, I was wearing 65, so I decided to keep that number for my whole career. For the 22 years of my career, 65 has never been far away.
Another signature that has accompanied Loris for most of his long career is his nickname, Capirex. A moment of inspiration and the name stuck.
Capirex nasce così per caso.
Capirex started, it was by chance. At the end of 1995 I moved over to the States. In 96 I raced with Wayne Rainey's team. I stayed with him and I was like a second son, let's say. I was young and he had a little kid whose name was Rex, so Cappy, he called me Cappy, Cappy, Cappy. Then boom, he stuck Rex on the end and I became Cappy Rex. So from 96 I've been called Cappy Rex. That's how the nickname was born.
Mi chiamo Capirex, il nomignolo mio è nato di lì.
This run-in with teammate Tetsuya Harada on the very last corner of the 1998 season handed Loris a controversial victory that won him the 250cc World Championship ahead of Harada.
Tetsuya Harada vive qui a Monaco lo vedo praticamente quasi tutti I giorni.
Tetsuya Harada lives here in Monaco. I see him nearly every day. His daughter goes to the same school as my son, so we do the Christmas play together, and we always laugh about that episode. But at the time it created a real scandal. People spoke about it a lot. But I think if a rider wants to succeed, he has to feel like a winner all the time. He has to go for it all the time, and for me, that overtaking I made in '98, for me, that was not dangerous. I took everything into account. I saw a chance, I saw a gap, and I went for it. But right now, today, it's a distant memory, and that title is mine.
E quel campionato è mio.
An accident consigned to history for Loris, then, whose career was also notable for his phenomenal collection of all-time records.
Record ne ho fatti qualcuno.
I set a few records. I set the record for the longest time between the first and the last victory. That was, I think, 17 years. Most races, the highest number of races that I completed in the first victory for Ducati in 2003 in Barcelona. It was special, really. It was all special. From the time I signed with Ducati at the end of 2003, we began testing. I don't think anyone expected such great things. We did well in winter testing, but we won the race in Barcelona. It was like a dream, such a beautiful time. As well, that bike was special and gave me a unique satisfaction. And I've got it tucked up at home.
Such a long and successful career brings great risk, and Loris had his fair share of heavy crashes. Reflecting on these incidents with his doctor Claudio Costa is both painful and uplifting.
Incidenti tantissimi.
So many crashes, so many, and I have to say that unfortunately I remember nearly all of them. Maybe the experience helps you to grow, but then all these crashes added up are like a break. Break because if you get hurt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you try to block it out, but that memory doesn't go away. It doesn't go away.
Rimane.
Ho incontrato prima il cuore, la fantasia di questo pilota che è il pilota stesso.
First of all, I encountered the heart, the fantasy of this rider, the rider he is now. Since then, I've always loved him for that passion that is in his heart, that made him so enthusiastic and has brought the love of all motorcycle racing fans. He had a lot of crashes, but the great thing is that in his whole career I never operated on him. We always trusted in the miraculous strength that lies in the heart of every human being, and in the case of the heart of Capirossi, that was so strong.
Away from the circuit, Loris has always loved football and reveals how his loyalties have evolved over the years from one great Italian team to another.
Football, that's a story. My journey in football is very strange. I was born a fan of Fiorentina. Viola, because my best friend at the time, which he still is now, was a super fan of Fiorentina. My first ever match was in the Curva Fiesole in Florence. But things have changed a bit now. I still follow Fiorentina, but I support Juventus. My passion has evolved a bit. I follow them, I go to games sometimes, and this year has made me really very happy.
But Loris has petrol for blood and is a huge fan of both rallying and trial biking. Besides that passion for motorsport, he enjoys a diverse and healthy lifestyle, thanks in part to his wife Ingrid and his supportive, loving family.
He met a woman who, in my opinion, allowed him to live the life that he wanted. His family were the same, and in life as well, he is the same as when he's out on track.
To have a long career like mine, I think family is essential. Above all, because family gives you the strength to always recover. As we said earlier, life isn't always good, not always fair weather. Sometimes things go wrong, and when things were difficult, in the difficult times, they always helped me, supported me. They've always been close to me. Above all, my father followed me from my first race to my last. He was never intrusive, never forced me to take a certain path. Even when we had tough decisions to make, he never imposed anything on me. Mum is a real peril. My mum's a character. She always wants to organize, to change things. She's a real volcano, an erupting volcano, always. And well, I'm happy she's like that because she's always bursting with joy and life. She's helped me a lot. With my brother, with Dade as I call him, I have a fantastic relationship. I have an incredible love for him, and the best bit is that my brother never, ever, not once took advantage of what I had. He was always close by, has always been my personal mechanic for all my toys. Whenever I have a problem, I call Davide. He comes over and sorts it out. My bikes, the old cars I have, all that stuff. Last year he was my mechanic, and it's a shame that he got involved at the end of my career, but he discovered a world that he likes, and he's still involved now.
Gli è piaciuto e adesso è ancora dentro. Ingrid l'ho conosciuta.
Ingrid I met by chance because I was here at home in Monaco with a friend, and we decided to go to Sanremo, to a small club in Sanremo. And I met Ingrid there, and since then we've never been apart.
Ciao! Hi, do you recognize me? No? Well, I'm Ingrid, and I am Capirossi's wife.
As a successful TV presenter, Ingrid is just the lady to give us a tour of the motorhome that was their base on race weekends, a glimpse of the private life which has brought valuable stability.
Me and Loris arrive at the circuit on the Wednesday, and this is where we spend the weekend. It's a bit like being at home, and it's a really comfortable place. As you can see, here is the kitchen, down there's the bathroom and the bedroom. Of course, in the motorhome, we must never forget Loris leathers and accessories for the race. So we have everything: helmet, boots, gloves, etc. And I have to make sure that we always have everything. Loris, on the other hand... But absolutely the one thing that we must always have in the motorhome is... Nikki. She is our little mascot, and she's really important, as the affection and the cuddles reduce the tension before Loris' race, and basically she's part of the family, and we take her everywhere. 3,000 massive Ducati fans all ready to cheer on Loris Capirossi.
Mi ha dato una bella raddrizzata, questo è chiaro, perché fino a quel
She gave me a lot of grounding, that's for sure. Until that moment in my life was a bit unsettled, a bit crazy. I don't deny the fact that I really like the girls, but when I met her, she gave me a lot of grounding. I started concentrating more on my job, on training, and my career. I think I went to another level at that time. And that's maybe why I was able to compete for another 10 years, more than 10 years. She came to all the races. She's always been close. Until Riccardo was born, my son. Then she wouldn't come to all the races, but she's always been close.
Però mi è sempre stata vicina.
Riccardo, I'd say that he's 100% of my life. He's given me, and he continues to give me, an incredible well-being. There's nothing more important than having children. In life, having children is the best thing that anyone can ever do. I realized that I am, as we say in Romagna, a happy daddy. He's a little terror, that kid. He can be hard work. At 2, everyone said. At 3, he'll calm down. Then at 3, not yet. At 4, he'll calm down. But now he's 5 and he still hasn't settled down. He's a real little terror. But it's such a beautiful thing. He's a great kid because he's obedient, polite, but he's always on the limit. Let's just say, in the looks department, let's hope he takes after his mom. Character, me and Ingrid are quite similar. In reality, we're two Aries, both really stubborn, and he's Aries too. I must say he's taken a lot from both of us. When he'd come to races, he'd loved it. He'd sit on the bike, watch the races on TV. That's Daddy there. But I must say he started on bikes at 2.5. He did the first bike at 2.5. He got straight on. But he's not mad about it, and I'm really happy about that.
He's happy because the idea of Riccardo racing bikes is simply unthinkable.
Non me lo chiede.
He won't ask me. He can't ask me, so there's no way. No. If that time really came, I couldn't tell him not to, clearly, but I think he'll have other interests.
The Mediterranean Principality of Monaco has been home to the Capirossi family for many years. Besides the sun and the sea, he appreciates the dynamic, cosmopolitan atmosphere and the many rich opportunities.
Mi ha dato tanto. Io penso di essere
It's given me so much. I think of myself as a happy resident. Happy because it's been over 18 years that I've lived in Monaco.
Scegliendo di rimanerci tutta la vita.
I made a lifestyle choice with my wife to stay here our whole lives, and in my eyes, more than the safety it gives you, Monaco provides so many work opportunities. Because it's a country where you can meet and link up with everyone and anyone. English, Germans, Americans, Australians. And so, slowly but surely, I decided to create something professionally. I've started a small renovations company here in Monaco. Clearly, it's named after my racing number 65 construction. And from there we've begun. We're really small. It's really nothing, but let's see if we can have a bit of luck on that side too.
Monaco is also an icon of glamour and prestige, and as Loris checks out some of the cars on display, he naturally bumps into his friend and football teammate, His Serene Highness Prince Albert II.
How are you?
How are you? Well?
All good? Yes, I'm good. So, you ready for the match? We won last year. Let's hope.
Well, we'll have to make it 2 in a row.
Absolutely.
All good with you?
Yes, I'm good. Racing's over now. I'm retired. It's a calm life now.
You know, you're too young to retire.
No, I'm not too young. I did so many years.
Prego.
I'm really very honored to know him. He's a fantastic person, just like the rest of us. We always play in the same football team. Last year we beat the Formula 1 drivers, and this year we're hoping to do the same.
More than his sporting triumphs and the trapping of that success, Loris values his close friends. He has a special place in his heart for his doctor and closest advisor, Claudio Costa, who pioneered emergency care on race days.
I
think friends are the most important thing. An important thing. My childhood friends have stayed where I grew up, but I must say we're still in touch often. They've remained real friends. I feel I must say that Dr. Costa and me have a very strong bond.
I met Loris when he was just a kid, and when he was in trouble in that first World Championship. When he could win it, but during free practice in Australia, he was in a lot of pain. Rather than helping him as a doctor, I helped him more like a mother, like a father, reading him fairy tales the night before. And then, just like in a fairy tale, there were so many riders who helped him, like Grissini, Fausto, or Casanova, and he won the World Championship.
Claudio was really important in my career. I met him when I was really just a kid at the start of my career. I was 14. He's always been close to me. He's always helped me. I've always followed whatever advice he gave me, and I must say that I owe him so much. As I said, we have a very special, symbiotic relationship, and I think Claudio, and I'm not the only one, really has done so much for motorcycle racing. I care about him deeply.
Another great friendship, born from professional collaboration, is that with Carlo Pernat, who sees Loris as a truly exceptional champion.
Carletto, we could talk about him for hours and hours. Because yes, in fact, he was my manager in the last 13, 14 years of my career. But more than a manager, he's a friend, a real friend.
I must say that in my entire career, a wonderful person, polite, honest. I've never met another champion like him. We've shared, I'd say, 14 extraordinary years, starting in '97 when I managed him at Aprilia, up until his retirement last season.
The strength and sincerity of their friendship is clear to see.
When Carletto is up against it, he'll always fight till the very end.
I must say that something that really made an impression on me is when one day in Japan with Ingrid he said, "Listen Carlo, of everything I've achieved, I owe a huge part to you."
Vedi Carlo, tutto quello che adesso io ho guadagnato, una buona parte lo devo a te. E dico la verità che questo...
To tell the truth, that made me really happy, especially as he's a rider of the older generation. We could agree a contract on a handshake. I think that says it all about him.
Una stretta di mano. Credo che questo sia tutto quello che si possa dire.
Ancora adesso è mio manager, anche se non corro più.
He's still my manager now, even though I've stopped racing. We talk every day, we swap advice, he asks me, I ask him. Whatever problem I may have, I call Carletto.
I
must say that Carlo's a real hero in the biking world. And regarding all that he's done for me, he's done so much, and I must say that a big part of my success is down to him.
I'm not just happy to help him, I'm delighted too. And I hope to carry on that way after the 14 or 15 years we've shared. Even if it's not the same, to tell the truth, without him, everything's very different. It's an amazing, wonderful thing, our friendship. But in any case, as long as he's around, I'll be with him, that's for sure, and vice versa.
Quello è sicuro. E anche viceversa.
Motorsport makes for some intense rivalries, and it is to Loris's great credit that he has always been a popular figure in the paddock. But his friendship with Valentino Rossi stands out. Loris was mentor to the young Valentino long before their rivalry.
Something I always say to Valentino is, "Mamma mia, you were such a ballbuster when you were little. You couldn't go 5 minutes without him asking, 'Can I have a helmet? Can I have some gloves? Can I have some leathers? Can I have a pair of boots?' He was legendary. But then that's part of his charm, which made him become what he is now. But now if you ever ask him for something, it's a problem. Hold your breath. I've got his helmet though, I have to say."
His friend and interviewer for the day sees his personal qualities as his greatest asset, setting him apart from his rivals.
E lui è una persona straordinaria.
He's a really extraordinary person. Extraordinary above all because he gets on well with everyone. In life you will always have little conflicts, especially between riders, who can be friends off the circuit, but when they go racing they argue and fight. But he has always tried to find a compromise with all the other riders, so I think that makes him really exceptional.
Quindi penso che sia straordinario per quello.
2011 was Loris's final season, and the end couldn't come soon enough following the death of his friend Marco Simoncelli, following an accident at the Malaysian Grand Prix.
Ho accusato tantissimo l'anno scorso.
I suffered so much last year about what happened to Marco, and now let's say my desire to race is gone.
La mia, diciamo, voglia di correre è finita. È finita.
It's gone, and
c'è stato
there was only one race after Sepang. It was in Valencia. I have to say that sincerely, honestly, Valencia was one of the hardest races of my life, and maybe one of the first times I was ever really afraid to go out on my bike.
The loss of Marco, aged just 24, was a heavy blow to Loris, who fittingly paid his respects in his last ever race.
L'ultima gara, è vero, non l'ho fatta col 65 per onorare il numero 58.
That last race, yes, it's true I didn't wear the number 65 to honor Marco's number 58 because I wanted my career to finish with his number, and most of all that his number should finish the season. Unfortunately, everyone knows what happened. And personally, I really miss him, and I don't deny. I'm not embarrassed to admit that quite often when I think about him of an evening, a couple of tears will always fall.
Penso a lui, mi vengono sempre. Era il futuro.
He was the future. Most of all, he was a genuine guy, like so many others, a normal guy. On top of that, he was very talented, and everyone loved him so much. He was without doubt the future of racing for the next 10 or 15 years.
Eravamo molto amici e io quando vedo che un ragazzo.
We were great friends. When I see that lad is genuine and wants to learn, I love to share my knowledge. And he was such a legend. We were always joking around. Sometimes he'd ask me, well actually he didn't even ask. I'd say to him, come with me and I'll show you what you should do, where to overtake. In the end he was better than me. Such a loss. Unfortunately in life, in sport, not just in sport but also in life, we sometimes lose people we love and it's terribly sad.
Questo è molto triste.
Unfortunately, that's the way it is in our sport. There's an element of danger. It is dangerous. You just hope that things like that don't happen. When it happens to a friend, it's really tough.
È molto dura.
Moving on from this painful subject, we asked Loris to summarise his 21-year career in the sport, and he looks back with great satisfaction.
In my career of so many years, I've won 3 titles, I've won 3 world championships, and I'm happy with that. Happy because I've had a very long career. I've got everything I wanted. I had fun, I raced lots of different bikes, and that isn't bad at all.
There are no regrets about that elusive 100th podium finish either.
Riuscire ad arrivare a 100 sarebbe stato bello.
To have managed to get 100 would have been great, a nice fat round number, but I didn't quite get there.
In tante occasioni.
I got close so many times, but I didn't manage to. It's a shame. But I must say that in the end, this world has really given me so much. So now I'm just grateful and happy.
That's it for our day with Loris Capirossi, a true champion in every sense of the word.